There's so much we're feeling right now: grief, sadness, worry, fear, outrage. I want to say a few words in addition to all of those emotions about loneliness. Many have told me in recent days that what they feel above all is profoundly lonely. In their places of work, amongst their friends, with their colleagues, they are surrounded by people who have not reached out, whose silence is simply deafening. Or even those who have expressed the unconscionable idea that Israel brought this upon itself. Unconscionable. I want to tell you about a few things that I've encountered this week to combat that loneliness. I was invited yesterday to a very small lunch with both California senators, Alex Padilla and LaFonza Butler. It was an off-the-record, intimate conversation arranged by the Jewish Federation of Los Angeles. Our two senators came to hear what leaders from across the city had to say, Jewish leaders. And as they spoke, they were clear in denouncing the horrors and terrorism inflicted by Hamas. I told them that we need all the friends we can get right now, and they affirmed unequivocally their friendship and their support. And I also want you to hear these words written by Bishop William Barber, who spoke to us 2 years ago on Yom Kippur. This week, he wrote, "I am weeping with my Jewish brothers and sisters, both in Israel and around the world, as they mourn the horrific acts of terrorism in Israel this past weekend. The stories of civilians murdered and families kidnapped are gut-wrenching. In grief, we are wrapped in darkness, and there are no words to express the weight that we feel." He continues, "We must be clear that terrorism is not a protest against injustice, but rather an act of despair that creates more suffering for everyone. Let us build on the basis of a broad consensus that acts of terror have no place in our struggle for justice. Hate cannot drive out hate. We must meet each other in our shared grief and find a better way." The reaching out from those outside of the Jewish community has been profoundly comforting in this time of loneliness. Indeed, these coming days and weeks and months and years are going to be very difficult. Israel must discern how to respond to this unprecedented week. And I must share with you that without wavering one bit in my support of Israel, I also worry about innocent Palestinian lives that have been lost and will be lost. I understand that some of us cannot access compassion for Palestinian suffering right now. I really understand that. These are among the hardest dilemmas that we face as human beings. To be clear, I support Israel in showing its strength and expressing its understandable fury. How else could anyone respond to sheer brutality? And I agree that every effort must be made to bring the hostages home. And at the same time, on this Shabbat Bereshit, I wonder if we can stretch to remember that this parsha teaches that all human beings carry the image of God. And so I pray above all for creativity in leadership, so that the way forward is something other than an endless cycle of violence and revenge. And if you and I don't exactly see eye to eye on what must come next, I promise in the coming days to listen to your perspective. I promise to hold it and honor it and hear what you have to say as the Jewish people faces this unprecedented crisis and struggles to respond. After all, listening is one of the ways that we love each other through this difficult moment. And that's the main message I have for you, the beautiful souls of Temple Israel of Hollywood. Shabbat Shalom.